Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajali. I didn't plan on coming up on here until many days from now, but unfortunately, there's been a couple horrific airplane crashes. And the first one that I said, well, okay, I'm not going to say any. Well, I don't like to ambulance chase with every single catastrophic outcome that radiation, most likely because of the intensification of these incidents that range from the biological to the material degradation of matter. I don't like to get up here and go over each and every single one, and I plan on doing a longer share on still in several days. I've been writing my book, and that's going really well. It's a really good story, even though it scares the wussy out of me. Anyway, but let's go on over. This was at the very top of the news site, Daily Mail, and yeah, plane carrying 175 passengers and 6 crew. Here, South Korea plane crash horror, at least 28 dead, and my condolences to those persons, to their family. After aircraft carrying 175 passengers and 6 crew crashes off runway and erupts into ball of flames as haunting footage shows lead up to smash. It's a beautifully grateful thing that more people didn't die, and there might be those coming up in the next couple days, weeks, who succumb to their injuries. I pray everyone it can manage a full recovery, but at least 28 people are dead after a plane carrying 181 people crashed off the runway and smashed into a wall at a South Korean airport. I have to add this in somewhere because I woke up this morning and yeah, it's no longer just 28 people. I think that's what I reported last night, but it's now 179 presumed killed as official death toll hits. Oh no, it's 167 as investigation probes if bird strike. Oh my God, I have a whole file called bird strike because I had already figured they were going to try to use the bird strike conditions to explain away the fact that they never, ever, ever, ever mention the Wigner effect and warn people about the far more hazardous nature of putting buildings up in the sky with people on them. All right, so this, to me, this is worse mass murder than when you, and I don't think anything that involves the taking out of anybody is not a lighthearted matter at all, unless, you know, each one of us personally would be like, oh, no big deal. I could, you know, just like not be here one day. No, it's a huge deal. And thereby, to protect yourself, we always have to protect each other. Again, my condolences to the families and the friends of these 167 people. Whew, okay, back to wherever I put this in to my original share. The Jeju air flight was returning from Bangkok when the horror unfolded at Muan International Airport in South Korea. That is a South Korean airline, Jeju, and let's see, of the 175 passengers and 6 crew, 28 have reportedly died in the inferno. Gratefully, and I wouldn't show it anyway, they don't show the video that they say they have. And forgive me for sounding, upset, but I don't wish for the obliteration of anybody. I always say, even though I know we're separate tribes, they've convinced so many of us that insisting on our own black independence as the, original legacy black people here is some sort of hateful rhetoric. We're not telling all these people who are suffering the ravages of radiation, not doing anything for all the animals that are succumbing. There's a historic collapse in the Muir bird population just on the west coast, and Fukushima isn't the only source of the hell of man-made radiation. We would be experiencing what Trump only hinted at, which is gigantic, which is why Joe Rogan just sort of, changed the subject immediately. Nuclear warming. It's so gigantic. It started before Fukushima. That's what the chemtrailing is all about, using the nanoparticulated aluminum dispersant in all of that. And it is to lower the ambient radiation from the sun, which is not at all anywhere near the equivalent of man-made radiation in terms of the particles that we absorb, these nuclear isotopes, these fissioning products are actually atoms. The sun's energy is photons. That is, it's a particle, but it is of a wavelength that where our bodies are acclimated to absorb. Plants are acclimated to absorb and grow from them. They don't just kill you outright unless you got the wrong melanin, in which case you got problems, but that's not what I'm here for. And so to not say anything about that devastation from all of these man-made facilities, and to just, without asking anybody's permission, dim the entire atmosphere so that the heat from that radiation, which is constantly emitting gamma, beta, alpha waves on a steady, constant basis, no matter where it is warming up our planet. And the same destructive energy, it gets caught up into any type of material where it bombards with these waves, and also with the emission of, I do believe it's either the electrons, or I'm still learning myself, but when I understood radiation, I understood the genocide of today's era. And I knew I had to warn you as best as I could. And so I've read more than enough to completely confirm all my suspicions. I'm not guessing at this anymore, right? And so you can swallow these particles where they will hence continue their bombardment inside your body. And they do the same thing in inanimate objects such as airplanes. And so this is my file here with a listing of just I think I've been on this new desktop of mine for about, well, the date up here will let me know whenever this was published here. As I'm editing all of this together, I didn't realize that there was a certain section where I was showing my bookmarks that wasn't captured on the video screen. So I'm just going to go right to the next section where I'm talking about crashes, and it is what it is. I had to speak on this. Horrifying moment, plane bursts into flames after falling out of the sky and crashing near a diner in Texas, killing the pilot. This is from November 2023. So I've only had this desktop for a year. And so these files are new. And in a year, These are just the plane crashes that resulted in someone's death. One person, oftentimes more than one person. Most crashes, gratefully, don't result in anybody's demise. But you can see this is a pretty daggone long list. And so they have this one: doomed airliner sent into death plunge. Russians may have sabotaged crash jets control as hero pilot fought for control. They got all these things over this plane, Azerbaijan airplane that crashed. And when I looked at the wrecked fuselage, this was really horrific looking. It's just shocking that anybody survived. I think it was 30, how many people? 38 people were killed, and 20 something people managed to escape from probably the back portion. I don't know if this is the back or the front portion, but some portion of the plane. But now they're saying maybe it was hit by a missile strike. Ain't really nothing about what was left, because at first they were like, there were little bullet looking holes over here. This isn't where the engine would be, this is the tail. That could have affected its navigational systems, because that is what the tail is for. But it just, the way that they then came out saying that, oh, this is what it is, I know they're hiding Fukushima. It's obvious. You can't say anything about it or any of these major media platforms. And even though I'm not the only one who knows about the Wigner effect. That's what this phenomenon is called, where there are gaps and spaces that bombardment of the radiation causes in whatever it's up against. And that creates what they call interstitial vacancies, that literally the cracks and fissures in the structure of something that's almost the size of a building flying up in the air with people in it. Okay? And so you can't talk about this sort of stuff. You can't mention it. And my channel at this point in time, and I surmise, and that's what my share is going to be about, is because I've just put so many of what are seemingly disparate, events happening all over the globe, and put them together with simply watching the trajectory of who talks about Fukushima and who doesn't. And I'm talking about countries participating in giant friggin', what is it they call the 3-card Monty all over us. I gotta edit this in. This was the cover from a share I did going over the assassination of John Barnett, who was a Boeing whistleblower. And they tried to blame us for the plane crashes that they then tried to blame on Boeing. But I have such a list. Most plane crashes happen in private planes, single engine jets. And they're like Cessnas and Pipers, things of those sorts that I would have never known about if they didn't try to drag us into it. But this Jeju plane, that's not built by Boeing. And when I went to look up the statistics on exactly how many black people are working at Boeing, it is almost nil, none. Matter of fact, later on, after my broadcast, I'm just saying, it's a strange juxtaposition. Boeing suddenly had to increase its DEI program by including all colors. They use that, people of color. That's just a way of saying color people. But they had to include more diversity, which then they add the wokery to that because they want to blame us for that too. It's the modus operandi of a predator mimic who's all about carnage. So you just don't tell people. You best be really careful when you get on these planes. I don't know what is up with Jeju. I'm just saying it ain't our fault. Right? The Georgia Guidestones, they mean that stuff. And Fukushima is the way they're going to carry it off. So this stuff is in our food, but they don't want us looking at that because there are ways and methods that I laid out in my book. Right here, Furnace of Affliction, Healing, Radiation, Damage to Human Body. They have done such a number on our brains that this book, which is the most comprehensive strategy for handling radiation in our bodies and in our environment, was, they didn't need to censor it on Amazon, but they did, but they've censored our trust in each other, so that when you see a sister who relentlessly, even though they have shadow banned, I mean, if I ain't dumb, if I really wanted popularity over and above your beautiful Black life, trust and believe I would be doing exactly that because I got skills, right? But I'm not trying to brag about it because I know bragging is stupid. It makes absolute, if you really love people, you think from their mindset. That's why I don't get up here and get angry and petty. Like I've seen agents who later on I confirm, oh yeah, you's an agent, all right, get really mad at us and say some flippant, just upsetting stuff, using cuss words and all the rest of it, right? I know who you are. I know what they've done to us. And so I put my love of you in my deeds that you can see for yourself. And you could confirm by doing the research. I shared my book list with someone who, I'm not going to say who they say they know, whatever, but they got all that popularity that they ain't about to give me. All right, and I sent them the book list because they posted something, because it got everybody afraid of the freaking, they're going to drop a nuclear bomb. You know what? They already have, and it's on your plate. Okay? They don't have to drop a bomb. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but what does it matter if most of the human population is going to go out like the mule birds? They don't need to. Why waste the pretty buildings that they think is civilization? Right? So I gave the brother my book list. I'll give it to you. Well, no, because then I got to edit everything together and all the rest of that sort of stuff. I've given it so many times by now. Hopefully you've done that research, but by now you should have got this book, because in all the books I've read, and it's bunches and bunches and bunches of them, I've never found anything as comprehensive as this. You cannot find this information like you could when I first started researching what to do about man-made radiation, because they've scrubbed the media. Okay? So you can still get this. You can go on over right on here to 25000yearcycle.org. You could skip Amazon altogether, because when you buy it from here, we actually get most of that profit as opposed to it going to Amazon. I'm not mad at Amazon because at least I can print the book up from there. But right up here at the top, you can go to Ajali Shabazz, and you can purchase all the products that I produce, so that you don't, I thank the people who donate. Thank you. But you can get the products, and I make sure my products are outstanding. The silk hair. If I had time, but I'm writing my book, I wash my hair with the Inzinga. I have Inzinga infused, and then I made a conditioner using the silk hair cream, which has a lot of the same ingredients as is Inzinga. And my hair, it smells so good. It's so light and bouncy, and it's locks. So wow. But right here, you could get Furnace of Affliction as an ebook for $25. Dr. She has not changed the price. That's amazing, because that brother, he don't play. He don't play, and I love him for that, because we need soldiers like him who know what's going on, and that brother surely does, right? Or you could get the paperback version, and I'll mail it directly to you, and it's in large print. So there are, elders who have a sight impairment, and you'll be able to read this easy. It's meant as a reference source so that when you have a particular issue, you can address it. And you can also I put it in a strategy for our overall rescue. So again, my condolences to the dearly departed. My focus is always on our dearly departed, as in the brother who was beaten to death by prison guards. It's just that when things like that happen, they are so painful that I have to ignore them a lot of times, and I don't do shares on them because literally I would just be crying. I'd be a blabbering mess. So that's why I come here. I come here for Black Us, but I know real diversity where each tribe understands that we're all on just one planet, so we're going to operate with the mindset of the perpetuation of life, not like these devils who just love genocide. Genocide is their solution, okay? I feel for all life. All life is sacred. But at the same time, God damn, when you are a disease, ain't nobody gonna be crying when you go out, because the books say, the holy books say, Allah, the Most High, Yah, is always the winner. He's the Alpha and the Omega. Ain't nobody gonna pity the loss of folks who do things like that and say not a mumbling word unless it's a lie, okay? I'm just saying. I'll see you in, I don't know, like 3 days or something. I don't have a schedule. It's just if something, I already know what I'm going to talk about. But anyway, I'm talking too much. Straight Black Pride is our map to forever. Peace and blessings. Love you.